Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Invincible CEO YouTube channel. My name is Dede Povernick, and I am the Invincible CEO, and this is live number 15 with Dede Q&A session to help you manifest with ease. So I'm very, very excited to be here tonight. If you are here and you are watching while we are live, please share who you are, where you're watching from, and where are you on your manifestation journey. I would love to get some real dialogue and feedback going on. I have some announcements, some of the changes that we're going to be making to the Invincible CEO YouTube channel. Now that the channel is growing and expanding, we have the opportunity to do memberships, super chats, super comments, what that all means for all of us here. So I'm thrilled that you're here. If you're here, say hello. Let me know if you have any questions. We have an open agenda tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the deep dive series that we've been doing about activating, aligning, and anchoring. So here's your wonderful opportunity that if you would like to interact with me, just put your questions or comments in the chat, and I will be able to get those and answer those for you while we are live today. So while we are waiting for everyone to join, once again, let me welcome you if you're brand new. Hey, Jill, I see you. Hello. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome for your first time here. And if you're returning like Jill is, thank you for coming back over and over again. I deeply appreciate you. Now, this is our 15th live, our 15th Wednesday in a row that we've been here doing Q&A sessions. And as we've expanded and grown, and I'm now able to offer YouTube memberships, and we also have a beautiful free nurture group, I've been kind of playing with the different formats. So we are no longer going to be doing our weekly lives here on YouTube, because as much as I love the interaction here through the chat, what I would really prefer is to do the lives in our free nurture group, where it is Zoom-like, where you're on screen with me and I can hear your voice and we can have beautiful interactions. So there will be some lives here on the channel. Stay tuned in the community tab. I will be placing more and more information. If you're not on my mailing list, I highly suggest that you join our free group. That's the quickest way to get on the mailing list so that I can keep you in the know of what's going on. So this will be the last live right now here. I'm thinking, I haven't made final decisions yet, that I'll do it once a month, maybe like the last Wednesday of the month here on the channel. But we are definitely going to be moving into membership. But the free lives, again, once a month in our nurture group, which it doesn't cost anything to join the group. And we get to interact and I get to hear your voice. And that's the thing that I really thrive on. If we can't be in person together, I love that kind of interaction. But I do appreciate you coming here for the last 15 Wednesdays. And I know there have been some impromptu lives along the way too. And I really do enjoy them, but I really do love hearing your voices. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to mention is we are having our next 2-day event. This time it's 2 days. It's 6 sessions in a private group where we go live and I walk you through experiences. So if you've been loving the experiences in our deep dive into the Now series, this 2-day event is probably, I probably have about 10 or 15 1 to 2 day events that I offer. And this one I really, really enjoy because we're going to do a jump off wheel. We're going to do a done deal wheel. And then we're going to do a connector wheel in between. And these wheels have 12 spokes on them. So we're going to fill them in. So that means each spoke has 1 week of action and how to stay focused and how to persist in the wish fulfilled. Do you need to do any of this? Absolutely not. However, where I find that most people have that wobble is in that middle between the asking and the receiving. And what we do is we help keep you focused and I don't even like the word persist because it feels like there's something you have to do. But enjoy the unfolding. We're here to enjoy the unfolding, to really enjoy what's going on. Hey, hello. Hey, Pat, how are you? Thank you for sharing your name. Hey, where are you guys at? I'm in PA, right outside Philadelphia. I'm a Philly girl. If you hear me go use guys, that's one way to know. But I'd love to know where you guys are viewing. There, I said it, you guys, it just slipped out. I'd love to hear where you are viewing from. And please, Chicago. Oh, the Windy City. Chicago and Philly are a lot alike, especially the way they were set up. So how cool is that? I know we are worldwide and we usually have some of our UK friends hop in, and I know they're probably a good 5 hours ahead of us. So, and I know Jill is also here in PA, not too far away. All right. So now, again, if you have questions, if you're loving the deep dive system, that we're going into all those. We're like 20 episodes into the 30. The commitment was 30 episodes, so we have 10 more to go. And Kervin, Downingtown, PA. Hello, Kervin. Welcome aboard. Love the fact that you guys keep coming back every week. And I'm here for you. So once again, in the description box below, this 2-day event, all the links are there. I always put all the links always in the description box of all the things I'm sharing. So we have our free nurture group that there's so much in there already. We're always adding. There's a beautiful challenge that we're doing. You have to put a selfie up and tell a little bit about yourself. But we just finished 2 challenges. We had the March Funny Money Challenge, and we had the Revise Your Past April Challenge. And the videos are there so that you can go back over and over again, watch those videos, because we're focused on bringing $5,000 a day in for you. A nice focus. You'll see that recurring theme. That's one of the things that I love to do in the channel, is everything that we're doing is building off of something else, because we're getting that repetition in. We're getting that subconscious primed. It's already impressed. We're priming it for what it is that we want. So guys, let me hear some of your questions. I did have on the agenda tonight about activating, aligning, and anchoring, but this is your Q&A. So if you have burning questions, type those in the chat. And that's the other reason why that I really want to move the chat to the free nurture group, or the live to the free nurture group, because it's more private and we get to interact and share, and it goes nowhere else other than that group. I know kind of when we were doing our sessions here on YouTube, it's here forever in perpetuity, but it's also a really great place that you know where you were and you had a beautiful jump off. So Pat, Kervin, Jill, do you have any questions, since you guys are sharing that you're here? And I see that we have a whole bunch of other people on board. And I know a lot of people just love to watch and listen in the background. So we talked about the 2-day event. It is May 18th and 19th. Save the date. And what makes me different than other coaches is there is a fee to register. You get the nurture group. This is a separate nurture group than our free one. This is just for the event. That's where we're going to hold the event. And then I take your registration fee and reinvest it for you in whatever services or products that you would like after the fact. So you kind of get the event, the group, the before and after, all the recordings, everything will be recorded for you. And then I applied. If you want to do a one-off session, I just deduct it from your one-off session, or if you want to do a coaching program. So no questions just yet. Okay. So we have that. We talked about that this will be our last Wednesday night live here. We're going to be going into the group and doing them there so we can interact a little bit more personalized. There will be some more challenges coming up in May and June, 3-day challenges too, but they haven't quite come into perspective yet of what they're going to be. So I'm always on the pulse of what you guys are asking for. So going back then into manifesting with ease, right? Why are we all here? Because manifestation is simple, easy, and fun. And I say it enough. And my intention when I do those in each and every video, saying that I want to see you win, I want to see you win big, I want to see you win all the time. They're not just words that I say. As things flow in the now moment, things flow out of me. However, I'm very, very deliberate, because I'm creating my reality as I speak. And I do want to surround myself with people who are winning, who are celebrating life, who really are ready to go all in with this. Because even though we've been doing the Deep Dive series and we're building foundation, manifestation is like that. But to an untrained mind, you could end up torturing yourself. Because, you know, even a broken clock is correct twice a day. So when you have that beginner enthusiasm and you come into anything, it's really simple and easy. But then the mind comes in and goes, hold on there. If this is how we're going to be doing things now, I need to know everything about this, or else I'm going to throw a hissy fit and I'm not going to let you get what you want, right? And I imagine my two minds talking to each other. As I've said in many of my videos, I call my subconscious mind Mimi, and I call my conscious mind Bob. And Bob really just wants to play along, wants to be a beautiful, faithful servant. However, whenever Bob feels a little uneasy because we're doing things differently, I know that I have to give my conscious mind a job. And that's why we are setting up beautiful foundation, just like we would if we were building a house. We want to get that framework, because if you're coming into manifestation and you're just going strictly into techniques and you don't have foundation set prior, your conscious mind is going to come in and wreak havoc on your manifestations. Because when you're in a story, when you're in a paradigm or a system, the story wants to appear real to you. And when you're in that system, it has rules of engagement. And there's certain ways that your subconscious mind knows when you pull out of an old system or when you're all in. How you know you're believing a story is that you have emotions attached to it. How you know you're pulling out of a story and detaching, it doesn't trigger an emotion. We can't stop responses because how you respond is how you respond, right? If you're in a movie theater and you see a scary movie and at some point somebody pushes their hand through the window and you jump, you can't stop a reaction. A reaction is a reaction because your subconscious mind believes that you're really there. It doesn't know that you're sitting in a movie theater totally safe. So when that arm comes through the window and everybody else screams and jumps, you're going to scream and jump too. That's why I say that you don't have to impress the subconscious mind. It's already impressed before you're even conscious of what it's impressed with. Your job as the conscious mind is to say, what do I want to experience now? So if we make manifestation really simple, and that's what it is, because you're doing it 24/7, whether you realize it or not, we're bringing consciousness to the manifestation. And we want to be thankful in the beginning that there is some downtime between the asking and the arriving, because just imagine if everything just started pushing out immediately, how much stuff would you have around you and how many times would you have to correct yourself and revise, right? How many times have you wanted to tell somebody, to take a long walk off a short pier kind of thing, right? So we don't want to have to be like telling someone to drop dead and then have to revise them again over and over again. And, be very thankful that you don't have to regulate your heartbeat or your body temperature or any of the functions, digestion, right? They're automatic things. So we already trust implicitly our subconscious mind because we're not sitting here going heartbeat again, beat again, because we'd get nothing else done. So when you start to realize that your subconscious mind already has your back, because if it didn't, you wouldn't be alive, you wouldn't be breathing, you wouldn't be in this body. So the conscious mind wasn't meant to be the narrator. It wasn't meant to be the, what do you want to call it? The nitpicker, right? Where you can't seem to get anything right. But when you're in those realities, and let's say it just seems like everything you're doing, you're just not getting anything right. When you start to realize that, oh my gosh, I'm in the not getting anything right reality, and it's playing out so good. Like you're getting it right, not getting it right, because that's the reality it represents. And when you start to realize what's going on, that's how you can start to pull out and not take things so seriously. But we've been talking about 0 point and 0 point activation, that before you pick up your email or your text or your messages, before you make a decision, go into that 0 point that you have a clean slate, that everything's been neutralized. And then you decide, this is who I am. This is who I say I am in this moment. And this is the reality that I am now opening the portal to, that my mind must deliver to me. And I was having a conversation earlier. So think about this. And this is when it's that's all, folks. The dots start to connect. Is if you decide today to play along with the $5,000 and you go into a 20-second imaginal act, you zero yourself out and you go into the imaginal act and you see a hand handing you, whether it's $5,000 in cash, whether they're handing you a gift card, whether they're handing you some Bitcoin, whatever, however, a check, however you want to receive it. You have now, to your subconscious mind, truly received $5,000. There's no doubt to the subconscious mind, it cannot say no. It is an affirming consciousness. It affirms what you say. So if where you're at right now is warm and sunny and 75, and you tell your subconscious mind it's snowing, to your subconscious mind, it's snowing. It has no eyes outside of what you are telling it. It accepts everything as true. Then the conscious mind would come along and say, no, you didn't receive 5,000 today. Look at your bank account, or where's the actual cash, or where's the card, or where's the check, right? It wants the proof. But that's not its job. Its job isn't to go looking for proof. I don't know how or where it started to get that job, because it helps you with the awareness. And that's why now, if you've given it to yourself and the subconscious mind says yes immediately, and the conscious mind comes and says, but the bank account doesn't show it, there's no check, there's no Bitcoin, there's no whatever. And we're now saying that's real. You can never get to the 5,000 then. So what we're doing here in the deep dive series is saying that the internal world is the real world. The physical world is the result of all your old thoughts up until the new choosing. And when you choose that you gave yourself 5,000 today, you could give it to yourself multiple times today. You gave it to yourself yesterday. Even if you didn't give it to yourself yesterday, you can say that you did, and you automatically, that you open up that reality. And you can literally say that since the Funny Money Manifestation Challenge at the end of March, when we introduced the $5,000 a day, you've been giving yourself 5,000 every single day. And if the conscious mind comes in and goes, no, you haven't, who made it the boss? Who made it in charge? And where's the proof? Because when you bring the conscious mind into the now moment where it doesn't exist, because it makes the choice leading up to the now moment. But if it's giving a narration, it's either in the past or the future. It's not in the now, because the now, I'll say it a million times, doesn't need a story. It doesn't need words. It is the story. I'm sitting here talking into a computer, but you already knew that. So it's kind of redundant for me to say that to you, because experiencing me doing this live is the story. It's really, really, really simple. Any questions, guys? So if your conscious mind comes in and says, no, it didn't happen, it's the itty bitty mind. It's the planting the seed versus the subconscious, which is the whole garden. And the subconscious always says, your wish is my command. It is your magical genie. And all you have to do is continue to give yourself 5,000 over and over again. But this is where I want you to do things differently. I want you to be able to say with conviction that that imaginal act that you did with your eyes closed is more valuable than if you actually received $5,000 in your hand. And that's where we have to give the imaginal reality, even though everything is imaginally real or really imagined here, we don't differentiate in the Invincible CEO. But if you're still saying my imagination isn't as real as reality, you're stuck. Your manifestations are not coming. Don't fool yourself. Probably should give up this whole manifestation thing, because one of the really big assumptions that you need to create for yourself and accept is that, and even Neville Goddard has said this many times, the imagination is the only reality. Because whether you realize it or not, up until the point that you found this manifestation stuff, you were imagining the reality that you were taught was real. And that's why it stays. And that's why when you're shifting through different realities, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of change. But your character can only see from its perspective. And I do a great meditation where I take you in this bubble as you're the character, and I take you up in this bubble. And as I take you up in this bubble, your view of your surrounding area changes, because when you're on the ground, you can do 360, but it's very, very limited. But as you go up in this bubble, you can see further in all different directions. You can see up, you can see down. You have a whole different perspective. And now you're starting to see like the subconscious does, because in its world, the moment that you give yourself something, it is done. It's done. even before you knew to ask, because it provided you the space and time to actually ask for it. So before the words are even done being uttered from your mouth, the subconscious mind has already said yes. It's done. And as I said in these deep dive series, if I command the word apple and I hear an echo come back and it says banana, but it sounds like me, what does that mean? It means that I said apple, but I got an echo of a different reality, because there's a me somewhere saying, if I say banana, I expect to hear banana back, not apple, right? Because there's always an equal and opposite reality of what it is that we're doing. So if I say apple, I expect apple to come back because I know what I've commanded. So if banana's coming back, it's allowed to be, it is a reality in and of itself, but it's not what I chose. And that's why zeroing out in the now moment and making a very clear, concise, convicted choice is everything in manifestation. Because if your mind continues to bring back an old echo because it still has a little bit more life left in it, it just simply means you have to give more energy to your new command. And by kind of ignoring the old one, not dancing with it, not engaging with it. You didn't hear me go, well, I said apple, but not banana. Go away, banana. I'm giving it reality. I'm making it real enough that I need to talk to it, which would make absolutely no sense. So in doing so, and you got to let go of being the good girl and the good boy, right? If I get a text message on my phone and I have no clue who sent it to me, and it doesn't sound like anything that would be a text that would come to me, I do not text the people back and tell them they have the wrong number. It's none of my business. And I practice that because I do the same thing with the echoes in my mind. And again, they'll figure it out. It's none of my business that they texted the wrong person and I'm not the person that they're texting. I'm not dancing with that. I only interact with those things that I've commanded. And if I've commanded something and it's not coming back yet in any type of form, I go in and play with it and have fun again. And that's what I want you to do. And that's why every day it's like $5,000. How could I give myself $5,000 today? And I get really creative, because then the mind starts coming back. So I have a thing that I activated, aligned and anchored, that every time I run or walk a 5K gets added to my bank account, because there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. And 5K is 5K, right? There's a reason why. And actually, Kervin and I today did a 10K. So I'm expecting 10,000 to show up. That's how much you can have fun with this, because all we ever did was observe things. They were either taught to us or we observed it, and then we connected dots and made synapses in our consciousness that if I do this, I get that. Well, you could do that with anything. As I said before, if you think the only way to fill up your car with gas is to go to the gas pump and pay for it, and I'm not even talking about other people paying for it. What if you decided that you live in a reality where every time you get in the driver's seat, close the door, you start the car, you put your hands on the steering wheel. So your butt's in the chair, hands on the steering wheel, and you tap the brake. And the moment that you put your foot on the brake, your gas tank automatically fills up. Like, that's how you can use your imagination. And how many times would you be willing to do that imaginal act to make it be an actual reality? So what would I do in that situation? I would actually do it, not only when I'm in the car, but I would also do it as an imaginal act, because one is a passive imaginal act if I'm sitting here in the chair doing it. The other is an active imaginal act if I'm actually in the car. And not only my car, but whatever car I would go to drive. Lucky them. I get to drive your car. Your gas tank automatically fills up with gas. How many times will you be willing to do something until you get the result? So if I did the imaginal act in the real car, I'd look at the gauge and go, this is wonderful. It just filled up, even if the physical reality didn't show it happening. Because my subconscious mind depends on me to give it the feedback. So if I tell it, because remember how I said this is all a template. And when you open your eyes in the morning, you get in your room what you expect. So if you start to expect that you can program your reality that every time your butt is in the chair and you're touching the steering wheel and your foot touches the brake, that the gas automatically fills up. Because one out of all the quotes that Neville Goddard said, the one that reminded me the most is that once you figure this out, you would never have to buy anything ever again. If you want to go down in your kitchen and every morning there be 4 fresh bagels waiting for you in the drawer, and sometimes there'll be a story where people went out and got them, but let's say you live alone and you want 4 bagels and you don't want to have to go out and buy 4 bagels every day. You can program that into your consciousness, and that must come to be because you are the operant power. So sometimes before we go for these really big ideas, play with little things. You could do something like, I did this experiment. It was really, really interesting. And I think I shared this story before, that I had a client and she was really confused. And one day she reaches out to me and she said, I had this weird thing that happened. My husband and I went to bed, but I wasn't tired. So I read for a while. And she goes, and he fell asleep because he has to get up early. And when she went to go to sleep, she took her glasses off and was going to put them on her nightstand, and they fell to the floor. So she reached down to grab them, scraped her arm on the nightstand, almost fell out of bed, picked up the glasses, laughed at herself, put them on the nightstand, turned out the light, and went to sleep. When she woke up in the morning, her husband was a contractor, so he was already up and out the door. Her glasses were not there on the table, but she had the scratch on her arm, so she remembered the whole thing, and she thought maybe the cat knocked it off because there's no one else in the house. And she couldn't find her glasses anywhere, and her husband would have no reason to touch her glasses and move them. So she's like, you're not going to believe where I found them. And I said to her, you found them in the spot that if they weren't on the nightstand, they would, the next place that you would go look. And she said, how did you know that? I said, because you think that you went to bed in one reality and you wake up in the same reality, but you don't. And your mind doesn't always remember to exact where you put your stuff, but it'll move it to some place that it would be if it wasn't there. So I challenged her, and I did this challenge with her, that she was going to use her glasses, and for 30 days, she was going to make sure that she put the glasses on her nightstand. And since I don't have glasses, I use car keys. I would either put my car keys on the table when I come in, or I would put them in my purse and take them upstairs. That would be the 2 places my car keys would be. So I decided for my 30 days that I would make sure before I went to bed that my car keys were in my purse. 1/3 of the time during that month, and I know for sure because I saw myself put my car keys in my purse, they ended up on the table downstairs. And that's where you get to play with reality. You get to test reality. So I would do things like I had some statues, little knickknacks that the kids gave me over the years, and they were facing a certain way. So I would turn it halfway and do 30 days of, would it always be turned or would it go back to how it was? And which one was the dominant one? So for me, since only 1/3 with my keys ended up downstairs on the table, my purse was the dominant place. So you get to learn where your dominant things are that's really strong in your assumptions, but also where else your mind will place things. So you really haven't been losing your mind if you've been putting things down and they're ending up somewhere else. You're just in the reality that that's where they were last. And because most of the time when things shift like that, it's acceptable to us in our story. We think it's us. We think we're the one kind of like losing our mind a little bit, or that's interesting. And you don't give it much thought. And your mind is paying attention to that, because when you do begin to shift realities, you can only shift to the level that you're not going to freak out. And, you know, when I said to you that my mind has done some whoppers on me, where I'm down at the park and I'm going, it's about a 1/4 mile around the circle around the park, and inside is all the playground stuff. And as you're doing the circle, you're going in one direction and people are walking in the opposite direction, and you say hello like the first 2 times. And then by the 5th time, it's like, what else am I going to say to these people? So I would meet up with certain people. We must have been keeping our paces because we would kind of meet up on the circle at the same time. And as the one time I'm going this way and they're coming around, I expect to meet them right? And I see them coming around and I expect that we're going to meet at the same place at the same time. And I look down to check a text for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden they were nowhere. They were just gone. Like they're not crossing the street. All the obvious places that, because it was very, very open, they just disappeared. They weren't on there. There's been times where I've been out running the neighborhood and somebody will run past me or run by me. So this time I was going in this direction and the person was running in the opposite direction towards the store. I go a little bit further, go up the hill, which is a really, really steep hill here. And out of the neighborhood, he came out again wearing the same thing, but he didn't run by me and he was going in the opposite direction. And I'm going, does this guy have a twin brother? Like, if so, why would they be wearing the same exact outfit? Like, it was mind blowing. And that's happened so many times because I'm in running mode and my mind is activating people that I see. So like if I go to the park and I'm just walking, I see a certain group of people. But if I go to the park and I run, I see a different group of people. Because in my mind's eye, these are the running people and these are the walking people. And even Kervin and I have noticed, like when we go to different gyms, there are gym types, like people that remind us of our people at our gym. They show up and they look very similar and they act very similar, to the point where like we look at each other and we're like, it's the gym people. It's the fillers. It's the fillers because we're in gym mode. We're not at our gym, but the mind populates, and we've been seeing this over the years, how the mind populates. And S says, oh my God, how cool would that be to command my reality? That's all you're ever doing. But when you're commanding it on autopilot, that's why the now moment is the place to be. The deeper you go all in the now, and you walk around as the observer and you do something enough times where you can observe things, you start to notice all the little different changes. And it's mind-blowing how when you put yourself in a different place where you don't know it as well, how quickly your mind can change things on you. Does anyone have any questions while we're here? So when you're activating, aligning, and anchoring, I did want to touch into that. And because they're the tenets of the Invincible CEO. If people come to me and say, my manifestation is not coming, it's not coming quick enough, I've done the imaginal acts, where is it? Right away, I know that you haven't activated enough. Not on that topic, but you should be activating a new thing every day so that at the end of 30 days, you have 30 things that you've activated, whether it's a person, whether it's experience, whether it's money, whether it's a car, it's a house, new clothes, tickets to a sold out concert. You should be activating something new every day, like this big, huge Christmas list. Because by the time you get to aligning, and this is the thing that happens, and this is why I've done the digital course of how to create a powerful appreciation manifestation journal, because we activate 3 things every day. And on this list that we activate, we give thanks and appreciation for something in the past, something in the present, and something in the future. Even though time doesn't exist, we're going to use it to our benefit. And on day 2, you do the same thing, but you're not allowed to put your items down until you go back and reread and activate them within yourself. So when I say activate, it's not just choosing. We take a moment with something. Let's say you want a new BMW. And we activate it in the body. We go into the 0 point, we zero out, and then we sit with that imaginal act until we feel some feel in our body. That's the activation. That's the email confirmation from the subconscious, order received. I absolutely love you confirming that I bring my reality along everywhere you go. You're like Pigpen from Charlie Brown, where his little dust cloud. I call it your bubble. You are in your bubble, and your bubble moves around the template like a little character in a video game. And everything you have is in your bubble. So if you're meant to have $5 billion this lifetime, it's already there. We did it today in today's episode 20. It's inactive, invisible, 80%. You're carrying your warehouse around. And then when you give it mental thought, you're on the mental plane. The first one's energetic. Now you've activated the invisible, but it's invisible. That's why that has to be more real than the physical reality. The physical reality is just an old template of the past. And when it's active in the 15%, I'm not going to go too deep into it now because I did that earlier in today's video. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch episode 20. You're in the 15% active invisible, which we're playing with imaginal acts, and we're dreaming feelingly into our reality. Then when you stop on the template, it's like your bubble opens up and it populates everything around you, the people, the conversation. And then when you get up and move, your bubble kind of reassembles and you move around on the playing field. So you have everything you need always with you. And if you pay attention to the activation within your body, so if I'm going to sit here and activate a BMW, and every time I activate the BMW, my nose itches, and I'm going around my template, whenever my nose starts to itch, there's something there for the BMW, because that's how my subconscious mind is, almost like speaking sign language, that you have to be more engaged. If you've ever had the opportunity to learn sign language or to be around someone speaking it, you have to be more engaged than when you're just using words. And it's like playing a beautiful game of charades with your subconscious. When I teach in-person classes, and I love this, when I'm teaching the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, I love using the game charades, because everybody knows the game and they probably played it at least once in your life. When you're doing charades via the conscious mind, right, I'll pick a thing out of the hat and I'll give you clues. I'll be like 3 and you'll say 3 words, right? And I'll tell you, I'll do something if it's a movie or something else. And we're allowed to interact with each other, because I'll throw out something and you'll be guessing and I'll be like, no, more, right? That's how the way you normally play charades is conscious mind charades. But if we were playing subconscious mind charades, and let's say I picked it out of the hat, ballerina dancer, and I know what it is. Once I know what it is, I will just start acting it out. I'm ignoring you. The only thing that will stop me from acting out ballerina dancer is when someone shouts out ballerina dancer, because it has to be a direct hit. And I'm ignoring anything else that's not if you're saying break dancer or tap dancer, I'm not going to stop and say, nope, it has to be the direct hit, because your subconscious mind is giving you the direct hit when you ask and it says yes. When you have enough things activated, after 14 days of activation, right, going back to the powerful manifestation journal, your stuff starts to come in. And obviously with only 14 days, 14 times 3 is what? Doing math here, 42? 42 things activated. Most likely some of the earlier things that you did at the very beginning start to come in. But once we get more of those days activated and we're getting towards 30, they're coming in so many different order of things, that you'll see that your subconscious doesn't care if this is more important than something else. It's going to get to you the quickest thing that it can in the template that it has. And the less that you're thinking and the more you're like pushing more buttons. I want to activate this. I want to activate this. I want to activate this. Oh, let's add this in. Let's add this in. And you just keep adding on and adding on and adding on, because it's always saying yes. It's like your sugar daddy, your sugar mama of the universe. Like you're the sugar baby of the universe. It can't tell you no. And all you need to do is not throw a hissy fit that it's not here, when you could be activating more things. Because the more things you activate, the less importance you give the things that are already activated. And as I said today, I'm very particular with the words that I choose. And I really don't like using the word resistance. The path of least resistance, you're still saying resistance. Stop that. The path of most allowance. Let's command the reality of what we want. We want it quick. We want it fast. We want it big. We want it exact. When I go into a restaurant and I order the surf and turf and I want my steak medium rare, do not bring me fettuccine Alfredo. Do not bring me a well-done steak. Bring me what I asked for. I'm the operant power. It's on the menu. I picked from the menu. Give me what I want. So when I hear these other coaches saying, well, sometimes you don't get what you want, you get what you need, I'm going to call bullshit on that. Stop settling for things from a lazy mind that wants to give you half of what you asked for. You can have it all. But if you condition it, well, I can't have that house because I don't have the money. You just named the reality. Welcome to the I can't have the house because I don't have the money reality. And oh, how that plays out. Doesn't it just play out? Or I can't have that partner because they're with someone else. Welcome to that reality. Welcome to name your reality, command your reality. What's coming out of your mouth is the reality that you believe you're in. And then you start listing all of the reasons why. And your mind goes, yes, yes, yes. Let's keep giving him or her that. That's why you have to sound delusional. Because there are realities where that SP is not with anyone. And the moment, and it's really cool when you start to do this, that when you are creating an SP in your life, and you're thinking about all the wonderful qualities, right? And I always say, make sure you have those qualities within yourself, because you don't want someone to complete you. You're already complete. You want someone that doesn't need to be anything to you. You're already whole, because when they come in, you can accept them for who they are, and they add on to you, just like anything that you do in the Invincible CEO universe adds on to you. I don't do the YouTube channel to get frustrated. I don't do the YouTube channel to figure out why things aren't working. If this isn't adding on to me, then why am I doing it? And that's the kind of question that I have all my clients ask themselves, because the reason why you think you're doing it and the reason why you're really doing it, that's why we go all in. We go in deep in the now moment, and we zero everything out, because we're not putting out fires of other realities. You don't want that $5,000 to come in to pay a bill ever again. You don't want that $5,000 to come in to save you from something. You want $5,000 to come in every day for the fact that you want to enjoy $5,000 coming in. That is the story. It doesn't need another story. So people are like, well, where's it going to come from? How's it going to come? That's not, and that's why we say, don't worry about the how. Just pick what you want. And then when it comes in today, then you tell your mind tomorrow, okay, I want $5,000 in a different way. And you wouldn't be terribly upset if it came in the same way twice, but remind your mind that you asked for it differently. And that's how you get to start to play with this, that the only reason in the Invincible CEO that we want anything is for the experience of it showing up, of the unfoldment. Then you can decide what to do with the $5,000. But if you're going to condition it before it comes, I need it for this, well, then you're in the I need it for this, but I don't have it reality. And you've just anchored yourself in a little deeper to that. Do you get, it may seem like I'm splitting hairs, but I'm really not. So for now on, and you're asking, the only reason you ask is because you want the experience of it. And then you want a variation of experiences of it. And you're going to just keep accepting 5,000 a day until you get so annoyed and bored with experiencing 5,000. Like, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to have to go, no more $5,000 a day. I'm just tired. It's boring of how the money's showing up. Like, that's where I want to get you to, because this is just a fun playground. You can take the 5,000 and wallpaper your bedroom. You can take the 5,000 and put it in everybody's mailbox, like whatever you want to do with it, because you know tomorrow you can do it again and again. And if that conscious mind comes in and goes, you don't have it, it didn't happen, it doesn't have the veto power to override that you just did an imaginal act within yourself. And then you don't even have to tell the conscious mind, because you're talking to an echo. It's not even a real thing. It's an echo because you didn't command it. If I say yes and no shows up, that's not my reality. So I want to leave you with one more fun thing that you can do to play with your reality. And I think I've shared this before, but I don't remember what video it was in. So if you and I are ever at a coin toss, you don't want me choosing and calling it in the air, because you will lose. You will lose every single time. You don't stand a chance. Just telling you now, I will always call tails, and you will always lose. And how I can say this with such conviction is, whether I give the coin, someone else gives the coin, don't care. Don't care if you show me that it has heads and tails on it. Every coin that I call that's in the air is a double-sided tails coin. I don't care what it looks like to everybody else in reality. Only tails can ever come. And that is so anchored and convicted in my reality. you will lose every time. And that's the level of all in I want you to get when you're commanding your reality. Do you feel me? Do you feel the conviction that I say? And I tell the story and you're screwed. Don't ever want to have to come to me and go up against me on a coin toss. And even if you get to call it, you better be calling tails, because you know that's what's going to come up. Because for me to come in at that point, that late in the game, and call heads, that's not my assumption. That's me coming out of my reality. That's me coming out of my flow, right? So I've just given you that. And if you take statisticians and they say, well, to get it twice in a row is this much statistics, and to get tails 3 times in a row is this much statistics, and it becomes this like impossible thing getting 5 or 6 in a row. Well, yeah, if you're in a reality where there's heads and tails, but it's 100% every time. It's not 50, it's 100% every single time when that coin is double tailed, regardless of what it looks like in the physical 3D reality. And this is how you get to play with 3D reality. And it did not take me very long to anchor that in. It didn't matter when I was activating that in my reality. Every time I flipped the coin, I don't care what showed up, it was tails. It was tails, it was tails. I don't care. Don't even know what heads look like anymore, because every coin in my reality is double tailed. How cool is that? And that's what we're trying to convey here. What I'm sharing with you is I'm living this, guys. And once you have it anchored in, I've been at that place of noticing things happening, learning about, I've been doing the subconscious mind thing for over 30 years as a trained interrogator. And I will say this to you, when you were across from me, I didn't care what words you were saying. All I heard was blah, 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 because it wasn't about the words. How are you breathing? How are you moving? When did you flinch? I was more interested in what your subconscious had to say. And then I knew how to come in and close the deal and get a confession just like that. I had people crying in a fetal position in the corner because I got them to confess when they stole candy at the candy store when they were 5 years old and they wanted to get it out. So much so that people love to confess. I have this thing that when I go food shopping, or if I'm at a store somewhere and people strike up a conversation with me, they're always confessing something to me. And then they'll say something like, I don't know why I just told you that, but I feel so much better now. Like, this is how you can put some fun assumptions in, because just bringing some relief as we go along here. All right, guys. So we had so much fun today. Like I said earlier, this is our last Wednesday live in a row. Most likely I will be doing one a month here on the channel. I will be putting stuff up in the community tab to let you know all the changes that are coming. But if you really want to be in the know, go into the description box, sign up for our free community. You'll automatically get put on a mailing list. I don't send out lots of frivolous emails. It's usually telling you a new video dropped or there's something amazing going on, keeping you up to date of what's going on. Our channel is growing and expanding very quickly. And we still have 10 more videos in our deep dive into the Now series. So I'm very excited. But then once that series is over, we're going to go to a whole different format. And I'm always loving your feedback. So you can vote now on what kind of membership channel you'd be interested in. You can vote on this week's community chosen video that will drop on Friday. Right now, it looks like there's a shifting reality meditation that's in the lead, like 69%, but there are other options that you can choose if you haven't voted yet. I love your feedback. This is all for you. Everything that I'm doing here is for you, because I got this pretty much down. And we're having so much fun with it that I want to teach it to everyone, because you'll never have any stress or frustration once you get this foundation down. Once it's down and things flow. Because in this moment, right now, you can give yourself anything you want, right? In your imagination. You could see yourself in my 2-day event in your imagination right now. You could see yourself in the beach in Hawaii right after. So the moment that you give it to yourself, it's done. Don't let some echo that you have not commanded, or you commanded a long time ago, even if it was yesterday, it's a long time ago in the manifestation world, come back and echo back, no. And I always say to my mind when it does that, you're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. I'm the boss. I'm the one in charge. And so are you in your reality. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Check out that description box below. And at the very least, have a conversation with me. Book a clarity consult, an intro call, so that we can see where we would be a good fit and how I can help you. And once you do that, you'll walk away with at least one action step that you could take. I appreciate you deeply. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming back and being here. And as always, you can send your comments. You can email me. Let me know what you want to see, and I will bring it to you. Enjoy, guys. Have a great night. Happy manifesting. Until next time.